Rec-
Hello, everybody. My name is Ahmadi Latif, and today I will interpret all what my lecturer is saying in my class interpreting. So here we go. Universal Humanism, Kartini and Pramudia Nantator. What is humanism creator? And then universal humanism. It looks like something that very far away up there, among the stars, not here, among the straws, and the smell of sweat after the morning. A son of human has a very big will to change a better civilization that no longer distinguish who you are, who am I, but saying let's all together because we are whatever we are. Maybe he is not too cocky with many terms, with all definition or terminology. He just knows that every human being is just same as their uniqueness. With their own needs, but together go to the very good purpose that tolerance towards each other and as a progressive move without being loose. So who is he? And again, we stuck in the question of who he is, who am I, and who are you? He, me, and you truly just same a human with our humanism. Maybe that's the brief or the simple explanation of humanism. Well, take a sip of coffee and eat snacks.
Nampaknya akan banyak yang penasaran. Istilah humanisme adalah cangkir-cangkir kopi dan piring camilan.
Maybe there are so many person or people curious if humanism is just served with a sip of coffee and plate of snakes with the simple jokes of human. Let's talk a little about it. A little serious about what humanism creators are. So many people talk about humanism. Even some of them maybe claim themselves as a humanist. I don't know what are really inside their head. Because each person has different taste about how interpret what humanism really are.
Yang mengaku sebagai humanis belum tentu benar-benar humanis.
The one who claim themselves as humanist is not really that they are a real humanist. While the one who really humanist did not want to claim themselves as a humanist. It's pretty exhausted, right? But that's how the side of from part of the world out there.
Humanisme sama sekali tidak menyentuh aspek spiritual manusia secara transenden.
Humanism transcendentally did not touch human religion at all.
Humanisme murni sebagai manusia.
Humanism purely as a human with logic, their nature, thoughts, and its rationality. everything based on the morality, the rationality,
dan kedirian manusia yang
and the human principle that detach from religion thoughts. In a brief, maybe it can be concluded that humanism is a belief
menjalani hidup selaku manusia
or principle or human principle that seek for the truth from logic, rationality, for the sake of goodness together. Now,
keyakinan ini mendunia
because of this beliefness going into the world, it means that involves many people around the world.
istilah universal itu muncul.
The universal terms appeared and attached on a humanism terminology.
Terus terang saja,
To be honest,
tidak akan ada habisnya bila kita harus bicara tentang humanisme secara mendetail.
it will be a long, very long discussion. It will be a long discussion if we want to talk about humanism in a very detailed. Remember, since there are so many definitions, so many genre,
Banyak pendapat tentang humanisme
and so many opinions about humanism, that every person or every human has their own truth and own definition.
mungkin butuh waktu sehari
Maybe it takes one day
atau bahkan seminggu
or maybe even one whole week to talk about humanism in detail.
dan wilayah diskusi yang sangat terbatas.
Since we only have a very limited time, a limited place, and limited discussion, maybe maybe we can start
Ini
talk a little about Kartini and Pramudia that related to humanism above.
siapa
Who is Kartini?
siapa Pramudia anak-anak.
Who is Pramudia Anantatur?
Keduanya adalah tokoh-tokoh besar negeri ini pada masing-masing.
Both are the great persons on their own field. Raden Ajeng Kartini, that born on Jepara, middle of Java, on 21st April 1879.
Ini terkenal karena
Kartini famous because of her progressive thoughts at that time.
dasarnya yang dahsyat.
Her big will to see women in her country to not become men subordinate again,
Berjuang keras melalui
that make her to fight through educational stuffs.
terlepas dari perbedaan geografi antara wanita dan pria.
Outside from the different or distinguish between man and woman,
Ini meyakini
Kartini believes
bahwa wanita bangsa
that women in her country
dan setara dengan
deserve the faith to be more equal to men.
pada para sahabatnya, dia sering menggunakan simpatinya
To her best friends, Kartini always share her thoughts. Share her thoughts
tentang keinginannya memajukan wanita.
about her will to change the women in her country.
Surat yang mengungkapkan
To her friends, Kartini always write a letter to talk about equality between men and women.
dia ingin wanita
She wants women to get more knowledge and study, has the same level of study and get knowledge.
perhatiannya tidak hanya semata-mata soal emansipasi wanita,
Her concern is not about woman emancipation,
tapi juga masalah sosial umum.
but it's about general social stuffs, general social problem.
Kartini melihat
Kartini says women fight to get more freedom in the same level as men, in autonomy or judgmental stuffs,
bagian dari gerakan yang
as a part of the bigger action
surat-surat Kartini tertulis
on Kartini letters written social condition on Kartini letters at that time, especially about women,
sebagian
about Aboriginal women.
besar surat-suratnya berisi keluhan dan gugatan
Most of the letters contains protest about culture in Jawa that prevent prevent women progressive movement.
Surat-surat yang dituliskan
The letters that Kartini written to her best friends on Netherlands later become a proofs how big Kartini's will to let women has more freedom that became a culture at that time.
perjuangan Kartini tidak hanya
Kartini's fight not only written in the piece of paper, but shows by build the free school for girls in Jepara and Rembang.
dan apa yang dilakukannya dengan sekolah itu kemudian diikuti oleh wanita-wanita lainnya.
And what she do with the school later followed by another great woman out there
Ini tempat masing-masing.
in different places, just like in Semarang, Surabaya, Yogyakarta, Malang, Madiun, and Cirebon.
Setelah meninggalnya Kartini,
After Kartini died, the letters released and became a book with the title Habis Gelap Terbitlah Terang, or After the Dark Comes the Light.
apa yang terdapat dalam buku itu sangat besar berpengaruh dalam
What inside the book is become a very big proofs or big movement from women in Indonesia, because the letter become become the root of spirit for women in emancipation, for women fights in Indonesia.
buku itu menjadi
Later,
para wanita Indonesia dalam perjuangan hak.
the book become spirit and power for women to fight for their rights. However,
Beliau mengatakan
Kartini wants women become not men subordinate again,
bahasa keren berbasis
or in cool terms right now, in nowadays, gender equality.
dia tidak menginginkan
She's not break the natural rules of women.
Kartini juga mengajarkan
School that built by Kartini teach knitting, sewing, and cooking, and the other stuff, just like what women does at that time, women skills at that time. It's a little bit about Kartini. Then Pramudia Anantatur.
Pramudia Anantatur di New York.
Pramudia Anantatur in New York. How do we imagine this? This last April, in the Casa Society building in the avenue, in the crowded auditorium, people see at the stage
Pramudia Anantatur
Pramudia Anantatur in New York,
yang lebih tak terduga.
something that is very unpredictable. People realize that on the arranged stage, there is something that came from a very dark experience.
Pramudia yang lahir pada
Pramudia that born at Netherlands colonization and grown at revolution time and get the knowledge or talent from his father about writings,
karya yang bersifat perjuangan.
and so many works writing about fights towards civilization.
Bertahun-tahun di mana Soekarno dan Soeharto
And his bitter life because of he has to stay behind the prison in
telah melahirkan
Soekarno and Suharto time. He works about the work that discuss about being oppressed.
karya-karya itu berisi tentang
His works contains about Pram's will to defend people who suffers and speak up about their sufferingness. Said women and teacher activist Dita Indasari.
esensi atau bangun
The essential of
ekonomi
the essential of being oppressed, work in politics, economy,
budaya,
and culture is contains in Pramudia Anandatur books, and that's is colonialism practice and feudalism practice.
tema pemasukan kebebasan dan perlawanan atas
The theme of fight back, the being oppressed, become dominant because it's not very far away from Pram's life that born on Plura, February 6, 1925. Prams has enough with many experiences about freedom robbery. He spent his life behind the prison. At the revolution time, at Sukarno governments and Suharto governments, the process of his fights that inspired people. And Pramudia in New York. The dark time has finally get into the final purpose to get a freedom. Pram has gone through it. Pram famous because of his works across the world, inspired the world. The fight to get being oppressed, to get a freedom and equality is a fight, is a humanism, is universal humanism fight. A little bit story about Kartini, but at least it explains that and shows that she is a humanism. Kartini humanism is universal humanism and not a literature stuffs. Pramudia Anandatur share knowledge about humanism thoughts through his writing. Sorry, coffee is still good and our snacks still crunchy. Let's talk and joking about our humanism. So it still can be good and crunchy and delicious. Greetings and goodbye. That's the interpretation for me. My name is Ahmadi Latif and goodbye. Chaos. Stop recording, Chef. Oh.